Hello guys and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm doing some good value picks for Sorare in your rare scarcity. I am not alone today. I am in fact joined by one of the goats of rares, SorareJonesy. How are you, my friend? Are we good?
Good afternoon, mate. How are you? I'm great, thank you.
Yes, good, mate. Now you're here, you're going to show me some bargains for me and for the people out there. So let's get into it.
Yeah,
okay.
Raphael Salinger from the Austrian League plays for Hartberg. If we have a look at his scores, you can see he's been in perfect form this season, and the amount of clean sheets he's been picking up is ridiculous. And then times where he's not picked up a clean sheet, he has got a decisive. One of the Easter eggs there, he's got an assist 4 games ago. From goalkeeper, which is quite crazy.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Now, his price point for a European goalkeeper actually isn't too bad, being under 300. If you could pick him up at around about the 250 range, even better. That'd be a perfect goalkeeper for the whole of Europe season. He's not really got any competition in Hartberg.
Yeah, it looks solid, mate. Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah, we'll move on to the next one, which is Cosmas. I think it's Kezos. I can't really pronounce his name properly, but yeah, he's a Greek defender for Austria Klagenfurt, who are also playing it in the Austrian Bundesliga.
Yep.
If you can look at his scores for this season, if you just narrow it down to like the last 3 months, you can see he's been on some amazing form. 97 as a peak there on game week 401. He's had a 72, a 74, and an 82 this season. Form has dropped off a little bit, but if you look at the price, a defender that's contributing more than what a decisive would almost every game for £27.
Yeah.
It seems a bit too cheap, so I think I'll be looking at picking one of those up myself.
Yeah, I was going to say, I need to bloody get one of those. He's got, in his last 3 months, his AA scoring average is 22.6 as well.
Yeah, really strong. I think even stronger at home. Let me just have a look. It's actually quite even.
Yeah, it's quite
performs
even.
Just as well away as he does at home. So
looks like he does better away.
Home and away games.
Yeah, nice one, mate. That's it's a good pick for 27 quid. It's not bad at all.
Yeah,
even at limited, £1.40. You know, it's nuts.
Yeah, he's got some good fixtures coming up as well. He plays Tyrol, who are in a bit of turmoil at the moment. They're near the bottom of the league. Rapid's a tough fixture, but after that, playing Wolfsberger and Strungbraus.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's got a couple of good fixtures, and I think he'll score well in those, especially with how he scored so far this season against some tough teams. Just the next one is Carlin's Arcus. Someone that I picked up before the start of the season. He's not been hitting the heights as he did last season. Last season he was hitting a few 90s, a few 70s here and there. And then if we have a look at his scores currently, he has had an 82 in the first game of the season. Also had a couple of 60s here and there, but Vitesse just haven't looked the same. They've not looked the best defensively. You see that they actually only had 1 clean sheet in their first handful of games, 8 games. Which is obviously not ideal for a defender, but he does put up the AA and he can contribute an assist, which does lead to those peak scores.
Yeah.
Then his fixtures coming up soon. He's got Feyenoord on game week 417, which is obviously a really tough fixture. But after that, when he plays Wall, Go Ahead Eagles, Heerenveen, does have Ajax, who are struggling. So there's a good chance for some really good scores there in those next 4 or 5 fixtures after Feyenoord.
Yeah, I like the look of this guy. I've picked him up for limited beforehand because I think he's quite cheap. L15 is relatively low at 47 as well, so good cat mode player as well for both limited and rare. And also, even after Feyenoord, he could go down that little bit more if he doesn't pull off a very good score. So it could be 25, quid or something like that. So it could be worth it even more then. So I like that pick. And he plays for
definitely seen dropping.
And he plays for his international team when they actually play as well, doesn't he? So a little bit of utility.
Yeah, I was going to say that he does get international utility for Haiti. Obviously not one of the big nations, but he does play 90 minutes nearly every time they've got a game, which is very handy for your midweek fixtures and international breaks. If we move on to the next one. Next one is one of my favourite picks. It's Nicholas Devlin, recently transferred to Aberdeen from Livingston. You can pick him up currently for as cheap as £20. Obviously, new season cards came out this weekend, so you might be able to even get a couple more cheaper than that. But if you look at his scores from last season at Livingston, a lot of 60-plus scores, with 78 in there, and then even if you check this season, I'm pretty sure he's had a 60-plus. Now, he's had a couple of 60-pluses already this season. The biggest benefit I would say about Nicholas Devlin is he's also got midweek utility with Aberdeen playing in Europe this season. So you can use him weekend, midweek, and until obviously, well, until we see if they go through the groups or not. So yeah, you do get quite a bit of utility out of him, which is fantastic. And like I said, he's capable of putting up those 60+ scores. It does say he's got a goal and an assist this season with a clearance off the line or a last man tackle. You know, yes, I think he's got a negative decisive in one of those games as well. Yeah, he did. So yeah, against Celtic, he did it. He got a goal line clearance or a last man tackle and an error leading to goal. Yeah, if you just hit those decisive actions, you're looking at a big score. Even his AA play isn't horrific. We just need a couple of clean sheets from Aberdeen and for him to get on the ball a bit more. He's a bit more known as an attacking sort of winger when he was at Livingston.
Cool.
But yeah, he's a solid pickup, especially for the midweeks. As cheap as £20. Can't really complain in there.
Yeah, I was going to say £20 seems a bit of a bargain for this one, doesn't it? For Aberdeen as well, who are quite, pretty much third every year in the Scottish League. I don't think it's that bad at all.
Teams, definitely.
So yeah, if you're trying to look outside of Celtic or Rangers, this could be somebody for one of yours. Any Scottish fan lovers out there? So yeah, we'll go on to your next pick here, mate.
Yep, so that was the defenders. So if we move on to the midfield, this is a bit more of an expensive pick. Refresh check the current price. So his current price is around about £42. It's somebody called Andrew Irving. So a little bit of news on him is in the summer he actually signed for West Ham and then got loaned back to Klagenfurt.
Right, so, okay, I didn't know that.
If he keeps up his current form, he may even get to call up for West Ham and get into the West Ham team. He's still fairly young. He's still got under 23 utility. If we look at his form for this season, if you can see, he's got 70s, 60s, 98s. He's been in a bit of a mad run of form with Klagenfurt, scoring quite a lot of goals recently. If you can see, he's got 11 goal contributions this season so far. And they've already played, 10, 11 games? So yeah, he's on a good run of form. He does play the attacking mid spot. And he's kind of like a 4-4-1-1. Behind Carwinian. So yeah, he's on good form. He's definitely got a chance of hitting those decisives. His AA score isn't fantastic, so you are kind of rooting for the decisive. But in a couple of games you see that he's got 18 AA, 15 AA. Got a couple of minuses in there, but he's definitely more of a decisive-minded player.
Yeah, no, he's good. And for someone who has under 23 utility for another year yet, that's good for people looking for under 23 rares as well. So yeah, I like the look of this kid. 23. I didn't know he was at has he been bought by West Ham and he's been loaned back out, or is he
that's correct. Yes, he was bought by West Ham and loaned back out for the end of the season. So I mean, if he becomes a Premier League rare next season, I think anybody who's bought him would be happy if he's getting game time.
So you've got a nice little stack there of Cosmos Kezos, whatever his name was, butchered that one, and Irving. So that was that's really good. I got your next pick here, pal, as well.
No worries. I promise you that was the last Klagenfurt player on the list. Yes, the next one is Benedikt Miok. He's the attacking midfielder for Slaven in the Croatian league. Again, quite decisive heavy, but does contribute with AA. If you have a look, he's got a couple of 70s in there, a few 60s this season. He's also got 7 goal contributions in the last 3 months, which is that is all this season, so it's fantastic. He's their main output for goals and assists. They do have a winger called Hoxer, who also has got really good output. The team in general aren't doing fantastic. There's probably a chance that they go down. But if they go down, I would have very much see Miok at one of the bigger teams in Croatia. He would definitely be on for a move. And again, down at £24 for an attacking midfielder with good decisive returns. I think it's kind of like a little bit of a bargain there. So this is Lucas Fadinger. He's now playing for Cash Point Altac in the Austrian league. So you can see there's quite a theme here with Austrian players being on the list because they're very cheap. If you can see, he's playing the attacking mid role. Altac, again, not the greatest of teams, but he has contributed this season. So if we just have a look at his last 3 months, he's got a 100 in there, which is not a common score to get. He's also got a couple of high 50s, a 59, a 55, and a 77 in there, and a 52, which is great for your cap modes. His L15 is a little too high, I would say, for the cap 240 or cap 220, or definitely for 220, but he's a good person to keep an eye on and just see if his L15 drops and then possibly bring him back in, because He's AA is contributing heavily. His last game he put up 25 in AA, and a couple of games before that he put up 16. So he was still hitting the 50s without a decisive or any real impact on the game. Like a 1-0 loss and a 0-0. So yeah, he's definitely someone I would keep an eye on. And also, he's young. He's only 23 years old. Someone that could really develop and move to one of the bigger teams.
Well, the only problem is, like you said, the Al-Touch aren't that good, are they? Well, they're sitting 8th currently out of 12. Which isn't as bad as I thought they'd be, but yeah, hopefully
they're always
they're
that
not.
team that are battling relegation at the end of the season, like in the bottom 2 or 3.
Yeah, and obviously because we're talking on more like budgeted cap 240 modes, like he just has to help you get one threshold, then you've made him, 2 times over, your money. So, and then you can sell him and then get a better asset. So don't have to necessarily hold him long term, but short term wise. But even then, under 23 utility as well. It's for another 16 months, I think it is. So I like his shout. £1.28 unlimited, nice. Under 25 quid as well for rare.
Yeah, that's kind of the running theme of these players. I've tried to keep them under like a threshold value. So if you did hit one threshold with them in, they paid off their value straight away. Yeah,
exactly.
That's how I kind of like to look for rares.
Yeah, exactly. I think you need to do that, and that's why Jonesy, exactly why I brought you on, mate, because you find these hidden gems for people to go look for, because not everyone can afford, your Mbappes and Messis and stuff. And so I'm glad you're doing this, and we'll get into the next pick, my friend.
Yeah, the last midfielder is Leonardo Lopez. Cemented himself into the Cercle Bruges team this season. If you have a look at his scores for like the last 3 months, got quite a lot of 60s, and 90% of them are all AA based, because he's only scored 1 goal for them in a 2-1 loss recently. But other than that, it's 27 points of AA, 16 points of AA, 12, 13, 18, 34 points of AA on game week 395, which is huge. So he's another person I'm keeping my eye on. Again, not too old, only 24, so he's not got the under 23 utility, so which is why I think his price is quite low. But yeah, he's only £27. Let me just do a refresh to double check that's right. Yeah, still £27. But yeah, he's a main starter there. He's not got any international utility as well. I don't think Portugal are picking up players from the Belgian league at the moment. Yeah. But yeah, he's started getting a proper run in the team, having really any sub appearances and playing a full 90. He's really showing what he can do.
Yeah, I like the look of this one. He seems to be, I like to call someone like this probably like a steady Eddie. Someone who is pretty much guaranteed to get you in sort of 50s mark, especially if you have a nice bonus on him, it's like 8-10% or something like that. It could really even push into the 60s mark if he does all right. And when he does well and gets in the 60s, sometimes the 70s he showed as well. So yeah, another good pick, mate. Yeah,
it's always good to pick on all around instead of picking really decisive players, because obviously you're going to be guaranteed to get that all around score, whereas a decisive's not always guaranteed in the game.
Yeah,
it's always nice to have a player like that.
Yeah, exactly.
If we move on to the next one, this was the last midfielder. We're now moving on to the forwards. This was painful. It was quite a struggle to get forwards for quite cheap and on a budget. So if we have a look at the first one, is Kyle Vassell. He's last season he was on banging form at the end of it, really strong. I think he came in with like 4 or 5 goals in the last 10 games. He had 5 in the last 5 decisives. This season he started off a bit slower, missed a game, but he's someone that me and Ellis have both got in our galleries, and someone that we kind of trust a little bit, especially when he's got a better fixture than playing against Celtic or Rangers or Aberdeen.
Yeah,
he's someone that can definitely contribute. His only goal has come against Hibs. He's a bit of a big sort of bully striker, one of your old school target men. So he doesn't offer that much in AA because he's not really involved too much in the link-up play or anything. He's a bit of a back-to-goal sort of striker, so he can pick the ball up a little bit deeper and try and obviously feed it off to somebody else. But yeah, he's not the greatest start. I think he will pick up definitely from just 1 goal in his first 5. Not more than that, actually, 1 goal in his first 7.
Yeah.
So I think he's someone that you can definitely pick up for a decisive. And I mean, £23 for a striker. Again, like you said before, if he gets you 1 threshold with a goal, he's paying himself over twice.
Yeah, exactly, man. That's the whole point again of these being budgeted. They're budget for a reason. There is risks to them because of their, they're not always guaranteed. You like the big boys, but L15 and 45 maybe add as well, which is good. again. So yeah, he's a pretty solid pick. 30 years old, so he's not exactly the back end of his career. So again, probably can hold him as long as Kilmarnock can stay up. Again, no reason to. But £20 as well for a forward as well. I'm mainly limited, as you know, and a lot of people out there know. But for a rare, for £20 for a forward, yeah, who's capable.
He's also
of scoring.
captain as well, so he's guaranteed that starting spot.
Oh, he's captain as well.
Yeah, he's captain of Kilmarnock. And the only game he missed is because his wife was pregnant. I think he had a baby that day. I believe he missed that game due to that reason. It wasn't that he got dropped or anything. But his 2 sub appearances at the start of the season because he just wasn't fit from an injury.
Oh, well, there you go.
Other than that, he should be starting comfortably every game. Okay, this is the next one. It's not really a striker like Vassell, it's more of a winger. But yeah, we found it quite difficult to get cheap strikers. So this is Stoichkov, plays for Eibar in the second tier of Spanish football. If we look at his scores, he did miss the first 2 games of the season. After that, he's come back in, again, quite decisive, heavy sort of player. But Eibar seem to have got a turn in form. They've won the last 5 games, scoring 2 or more in every single game. And he and himself has contributed 3 goals in that time. So someone that I've been keeping an eye on. His price is around about £45 currently. And his L15 is perfect for your cap 240 or cap 220. But again, he's very decisive heavy like most forwards, so you would need probably a goal out of him or an assist to really push towards the threshold, I would say, because most of his scores here that haven't got a goal on a 41, 31, 38, 38. It's not really what you're looking for, even with a high XP boost. You're still looking at around about 40 points for him. But yeah, he's a bit more expensive than Vassell, around about double his price at £46. But I think if Eibar keep on the form that they are doing, and he carries on continuing to play, I think there's gold in there for him, definitely. And again, another player that one threshold basically pays him off. You only need 1 good week out of him and you've got your money back.
Yeah, exactly, mate. £45 again for it looks like a decent attacking midfield. And forwards. And I know Eibar, I think at the start they were meant to be one of the favourites to go up, weren't they? I think it was Eibar.
Yeah.
And they were just having a torrid start of the season. I know this because I think it was Lucas Zidane, the goalie, and he was just not keeping any clean sheets. Yeah, so thank God I did get rid of them though. But nonetheless, they are conceding, but they're also, like you said, scoring at least 2 a goal, and which this guy looks like he's a part of. The only thing that does sort of scare me with him a bit is that in the last 3 months he has an average AA score of 1.9, so he is decisive heavy. But I think that's again, for the value, you can't really moan about it too much. You know, like you're not paying hundreds and hundreds of pounds for a striker who can also hit 30s. But you're paying something a quarter of that value. And he looks good, mate. Even at 29 years of age, I think he looks good.
Yeah, with these players, you're just looking for that one peak score that's going to match up with the rest of your team to grab you that threshold and basically pay off and give you a bit of return on investment. And I reckon this guy, he's had 3 goals already this season out of 10 games, and I think he's probably on course for 9-10 goals, maybe a couple of assists in there, so you should definitely get a return out of him, and as long as you match up right on your threshold team.
Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching. That is the end of the video. Thank you so much, Jonesy, for coming on, my friend. Thank you for showing everybody that you've showed today. I'm definitely going to try and pick up 1 or 2 and start my rare adventure, so thank you for that. Guys, also, as you can see on screen, got the at Capital Sorare as for Twitter, or X if you want to call it that. So make sure to go follow that. And then obviously also SorareJonesy as well, which is at SorareJonesy. So it's nice and easy there for you. Make sure you follow him. He does some brilliant content on there. As you can see, he's also got a cap 220 to 40 rare mode players for under £20, which he showcases a bunch of them. So make sure to go show some love and go follow him, all right? And also, I know, Jonesy, you are on the cusp of maybe making a Twitch channel, so everyone make sure you keep an eye out on that. Is any last words, mate, that you got for us?
No, thank you for having me on, mate. It's been a pleasure. I'm happy to come back anytime. It's fantastic.
Oh, I think you'll be a regular on this channel, mate. Not a problem at all. But yeah, again, guys, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.